Hello and welcome to the Wix e-commerce growth summit. This is a meeting of the minds on marketing and growth for e-commerce businesses. We are going to be going through e-commerce growth trends, focusing on 3 key stages of the customer journey: growing traffic, driving conversions, and building customer loyalty. So make sure you stick around for every session throughout today. You will find a chat function, and that's live right now. And if you've got questions about anything e-commerce today, anything our speakers are talking about, or anything else, then ask away, because there is a team of specialists from Wix and our panelist companies and more ready to answer your queries on the chat function. Now, we're going to be kicking off with this panel discussion on the new normal of accelerated e-commerce growth. And I'm here to ask the questions even in this panel. I'm Chloe Thomas, host of the award-winning e-commerce master plan podcast and the marketing focus Keep Optimizing podcast, and the author of several best-selling books on e-commerce. And Wix have lined up an amazing panel of e-commerce thought leaders, so I think we should meet them. Hello, everybody. We're going to start off with David. So David, could you please introduce yourself to the audience and let us know, what have you bought online in the last 12 months that you never, ever thought you would buy online?
So, hi, I'm David Schwartz. I'm the VP product of Wix. And among other things, I'm responsible for Wix e-commerce. And the weirdest thing I bought online was when the pandemic began. Before that, I used to work out 2 times a week. And my gym was shut down, which for me was devastating. So I booked a private training session. I got addicted. I started booking 5 private sessions every day through Zoom. I used to come to the office, close a room, open my mattress, get my weights. I bought the weights online before the pandemic, so I had weights, and I started working out 5 times a week. I never went back to my gym. I'm continued to work with the same personal trainer on Zoom. So I increased my trainings, and that was awesome.
Wow, that's amazing. And the number of people in the world who have done the exact opposite of that during lockdown and seen the waistline expand. Kudos to you, David. I am certainly very impressed with that. Okay, next we'll come to Kazal. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us what you've bought that you never thought you would buy online?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Chloe. My name is Ghazal Asif. I have the immense pleasure of leading our EMEA channel sales team at Google. I am gutted that I'm following David. So David, I really wish I had got in shape after hearing that you're working at 5 times a day. I was eating 5 times a day. But I purchased a big couch, not for myself actually, for my mum. So my parents moved into a new home, doing a home move via pandemic, by the way, worst idea possible. But they moved into a beautiful new home, and mum needed some help with furniture. Furniture is that especially couches where you want to physically be there and sit on it and see its comfort level. But it was the option of either having a couch or not having one. So I went online and I thought, you know what, let's just take the risk, and ordered a couch, and actually it arrived 8 weeks behind schedule. Sadly, I know it sucks, but it's super comfy. So it was a hit.
Excellent. I like that. So we've had furniture and we've had personal fitness so far. 2 polar opposites. So I wonder where we're going to go next. Nick, it's time for you to introduce yourself to the audience and share your unusual online purchase.
Yes, thank you, Chloe. I'm Nick Neuer. I lead our marketing for Stipe across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Stipe is a technology company that provides payments infrastructure for businesses of any size. And I was going to say a Peloton, but David sort of went in that direction already. So I'll instead go with the comfy route that Ghazal said, and say a lumbar pillow for all of the time spent sitting at the desk. Very critical, and it's served me well. So.
Excellent. I like it. Somewhere in between the two then. That's kind of where fitness and comfort merge, isn't it? Right, Mike, your turn to introduce yourself and share your purchasing habits.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Chloe. My name is Mike Rossi. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO at Smile.io. We help about 70,000 different e-commerce merchants around the world run really effective loyalty programs for their e-commerce stores. And my sort of purchase that I never thought I'd make before that I made in the past year was a new car. So typically something that had been, I mean, I know it's not comfort or fitness related, but something that was a sort of convoluted, very complicated sales process before became very simple as part of the pandemic out of necessity. And I think that happened in a lot of different areas, from couches to cars. And I think that's really interesting as we see the GMV of the internet switch towards, the GMV of retail switch towards the internet, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, they shared some stats in the UK earlier this week that the amount that teenagers have been spending online doubled during the beginning of the pandemic, and that trend is continuing. So I think it's going to be even more interesting in 12 months' time to see what we're now continuing to kind of like build those, break those barriers of where we go to with our online spends and the things we're willing to commit to online. But it's time we got out of the slightly frivolous world of what we've been buying online and get into the really great content, which is going to give you guys what you need to know to grow your business this year and beyond. So we're going to start off with a question for David. So David, the Wix team, your team, have put together an amazing event today. What led you to decide to pull it together and to give it this focus?
So an interesting fact is that from March 2020 to March 2021, which is the pandemic time, the number of users using Wix eCommerce grew by 45%. That's an amazing growth. Why did it happen? Because, obviously the pandemic took the world online. Consumers came online. It was a huge opportunity for businesses to grow. And for us, when the businesses grow, when our users succeed, we succeed. So for us at Wix, KPI means key performance indicator. And many companies choose the key performance indicator to be their sales or their revenues or their collections. That has never been our number one KPI. Our number one KPI has always been our users' success. That's our number one goal. That's our number one mission. My hope in this session is to help our users succeed more online.
I love that. And I could totally see how that aligns with this, because as I said earlier, the lineup of today is going to help so many of your e-commerce customers to take things up a level. It's going to be a great session. So I'm going to hit you into another question, which is, as VP product, you are deep, day in, day out, far deeper than me, or I suspect most of the people watching, in what the e-commerce tech landscape looks like right now and what's coming up in the future. So what tech, what options, what functionality should brands be implementing right now or making sure is on their dev list for next year to make sure they can continue improving and helping you improve your own KPIs?
SEO, the more SEO you do, and we're going to provide you great tools for SEO. SEO setup is critical. Email marketing is critical. At the stage you arrive to the place where you're willing to spend money, Facebook ads, Google ads, there are many ways to advertise yourself, but start with email marketing to your friends. Even if you don't have budget, you can spend time. Email marketing to your friend and search engine optimization. Another thing that can boost success for the users is sales channels. Don't sell only through your online store. Sell also through Amazon. Sell also through eBay. Sell also through your physical store. Omnichannel is super critical for our success. So that's in a nutshell a few tips.
What I particularly love about that, David, is that all those different areas you've run through are the fundamentals. And what I adore about the e-commerce world at the moment is that these fundamentals that some of us have been working on for more than a decade now, because of the technological advances by platforms like Wix, by many of our panelists today, it's become so much more straightforward to put that in place to give a good impact for the consumers we're working with. And it's I love it. It's nothing like totally off the wall, but that's a great thing, because we should be focusing on getting the fundamentals right to look after those customers. Is that a theme you see going through these as well, David?
There are huge brands and there are small merchants. I think they should be treated alike. It's the same challenges. So as an example, let's take logistics and shipping. Shipping label is something a large brand will use in a trivial manner. Every large brand uses shipping label. If you can take shipping label to a merchant that just starts, take all the hassle from building the logistics, help them define their shipping, help them define their shipping rules, their shipping costs, their shipping terms and conditions, help them build their website. If they want drop shipping, they can use drop shipping. If they want print on demand, they can use print on demand. Loyalty. Loyalty is something that was associated with big brands. It is not the case anymore. Every user that comes to Wix can go to the Wix app market and use Smile.io, even if you're the smallest merchants that began yesterday.
You know, what I loved about what David said is sometimes when you ask these questions, you often expect a response that is, you know, that is so either so scientific or so complicated. But what David mentioned, it's all about, you know, nailing those basics. But those basics are the fundamentals, which I'm sure I will definitely touch on, and the rest of my wonderful fellow panelists will touch on. And summarize succinctly, David, thank you so much. Set a high bar for this panel.
That's completely true. And Mike, did you want to come in with some thoughts around the tech stack as well?
Yeah, I think in particular what David mentioned, like one of the lowest hanging fruits that we often see is neglected by merchants is just the email flow after purchase. I'll touch on this later when I speak, but that's one of the things that you can implement today that likely will generate revenue, like return on investment for you immediately. So I think that's one of the things we see most neglected, which I'll touch on later.
Excellent. Well, talking of later, I think it's time we got Ghazal back up to talk about some marketing elements. We've talked about tech. Next, I think we should start talking about a bit more of the communication side of things. So, Ghazal, in the last 18 months, we've seen a lot of new e-commerce startups launch. From what, you know, as David was saying earlier, we've seen people starting to do their fitness booking online, which is a form of e-commerce. So we've seen a lot of existing businesses start doing it. We've seen a lot of people building it in their bedrooms as well, and these side projects that people have been up to. That has created a lot of new competition. How would you advise brands to deal with the increased challenge of getting in front of new customers?
Thanks, Chloe. It's a fantastic question. You're absolutely right. The surge in e-commerce brings just an undeniable amount of opportunities. But look, the reality is, as you mentioned, the changing competitive landscape and what seems to sometimes be unpredictable needs of shoppers. It's a real challenge for a small business, for a medium or a large business. The good news is that this is also a time where consumers are more open than ever to discovering and trying new brands. In fact, we found that 46% of shoppers say that they're discovering new brands compared to pre-pandemic. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. I have had probably bought from more different brands than I have ever done before, simply because I spent so much more time making purchases online. So really, this is the perfect time to get in front of new customers. And here's two things that I would recommend. The first is what I mentioned before. It's about nailing the basics. You must have the basics down. So in my point of view, what are the basics? The first is being found on Google and Google Maps. This seems obvious, but it is critical, as 4 out of 5 consumers, they use search engines to find information like website, business hours, addresses, contact details. Having a My Business business listing enables you to be seen on Google Maps and on the right-hand side of the Google search page. And the great thing with our amazing partnership with Wix, Wix can help you set up your listing in literally a few clicks, which is amazing. Second, on your website, offer as much information as options as you can. Consumers are increasingly wanting more options in product, options in payment. And as David mentioned, shipping and fulfillment is really important as well. And an example comes to mind. So in my intro, I mentioned that I had bought a couch under strict instruction from my mum, and she also wanted my hand in trying to procure some nice pillows to go with this, or couch, cushions, depending on where you are in the world, to go with this couch. And last week I was online shopping, looking for which cushions make most sense. Got to checkout, and because they didn't accept one-click payment, I had to go into this form, enter my billing address, enter a shipping address that's different to my billing address, enter all my information. They also didn't accept Amex, and I did not complete my purchase. Then I was like, oh, I really wanted those and my mom would have loved them, but I felt a little bit better because they also didn't offer express shipping, so I wouldn't have received my purchase on time anyway. So the first thing is make sure you're being found, and then think beyond product offering to payment and shipping also. The second, and this is the more that I do my research on this, the more I find this really important and fascinating, is be authentic, celebrate, showcase your company values, because 71% of consumers prefer to buy from companies that align with their values. Like, think about the values of Wix. I can really relate to that as a consumer, a customer, or even if I was a business owner, that Wix cares about my success. As research shows that even when people say, well, you know, today I'm going to make a purchase, but actually I'm looking for value for money as the most important decision, drivers like, wow, this company inspires me, or this company cares about my success, or this company is doing something great for the world, were equally, if not more important in driving purchase intent, brand love, and brand trust. So I'm so proud to say that at Google, we're helping consumers identify these values, enabling them to buy from businesses that they believe in. Across Google Search and Google Maps, a business can identify themselves as Black-owned. We also recently made it possible to highlight LGBTQ+ friendly businesses, because we know that what really matters to this community is to find a safe place. We also have indicators for women-led and underrepresented communities. And another great example comes to mind. I was looking for coffee shops that have reopened. And in Google Maps, I discovered a coffee shop that is not just a coffee shop, but they hire women that are refugees, specifically to get them upskilled and get them integrated into the community. And they also sell merchandise online from women-led businesses. And I literally drove to the other side of Glasgow, hugely inconvenient, just because that little coffee shop, what they're selling online and their values really, really aligns very closely to mine. So your website and your online storefront is a great place to showcase your products and tell your story and be proud of it. Be consistent in your messaging across all your communication channels. And this is the way that you can build your identity around its brand. And what's really important is around its values.
I love that. And I love that you've touched on the values piece, because it's really easy for us to look back over the last 12, 18 months and go, yeah, everyone started buying online and this number's gone up and that number's gone up. But personally, I think one of the biggest trends of the last 12 months, really, really hard to put a number on, but one of the biggest trends of the last 12 months is that consumer desire for the emotional connection and the values and the linking. Be that ethnicity, be it like you were saying about looking after refugees and helping people who are less well off than we are. It's such an important message. I love the fact you brought that in. Then we have another question for you, Gazelle, because of course, once people have got these new customers, they've then got to deal with keeping those customers buying from them and driving their loyalty. So how would you suggest our viewers should go about that?
So that's a fantastic follow-up question, Chloe. Thank you. So keeping your customers engaged, and I know that Mike is also going to talk about loyalty as well, which I'm really looking forward to hearing. Specific to this response, in our point of view, keeping customers engaged is what really drives loyalty, and it's really that simple. So what are some of the very tactical ways that you can keep your customer engaged? Here's 3 things that you can do. First, use those email lists to make customers feel like a community with exclusives, early access to deals, and offers. That one is a fairly obvious one and very effective if done properly. Second is ask customers to write a review. Research has found that positive reviews make 91% of consumers more likely to choose a business. And actually those reviews are really trustworthy, because 2/3 of people trust these reviews as much as they would with a friend, a family recommendation. And then the third thing is use the full functionality of Google My Business. The most successful businesses make sure they use the full functionality of reviews, posting, enabling business messaging, which is a feature that allows real chat with the owner. So Again, to give you an example, you know, summer is here in Scotland. I was joking earlier with Nick and saying that we have like 5 days of summer in total. And so in those 5 days, I want to be sat outside. I want to be having coffee or restaurant somewhere, doing dining outside. So I went into Google My Business and looked at places that looked like they had pictures that had outdoor seating, because of the restrictions in Scotland, a lot of places you can only eat if you're sitting outside. So popped up, there's a bunch of businesses that popped up showing, hey, we're now doing outdoor seating. So they were my options. But what's more is those businesses were also using the messenger function. So I was able to connect with, so in most cases, it was the business owner and just double check, are you definitely open? Do you definitely have outdoor seating? By the way, can I skip the 45-minute wait? In most cases, unfortunately, they'd say no, that I was a little gutted about. But that interaction and that engagement through Google My Business has shown that businesses get 5 times more views, are considered 3 times more reputable, and customers are 70 times more likely to visit and 50 times more likely to make a purchase if it's an online purchase.
Wow. It definitely sounds like everyone out there should be making the most of Google My Business, because quite clearly there's a lot of opportunity there for you, especially with that close connection with Wix. Now, someone we haven't heard a lot from yet today, which is surprising considering he represents Stripe, who are, let's face it, getting paid is pretty fundamental to e-commerce. So Nick, you're up now. Payments often get overlooked when brands are looking to increase sales and conversion rates, which is kind of crazy considering how fundamental payments are. So how should we be using payments right now to improve our businesses?
Yeah, I think historically, a lot of businesses have seen payments as a bit of a cost center and have looked at it as a place, not necessarily as a part of their technology stack as a lever for growth, but that's really changing. And businesses of all sizes are starting to look to payments, both to increase their top line revenue and reduce costs. And so we at Stripe are always thinking about how can we build better products, better ways for businesses to increase their checkout completion, to lower dispute rates, to reduce fraud, increase their authorization rates. And all of these different pieces to the puzzle make such a huge difference to driving revenue and helping businesses grow. I think what Gazelle was touching on about her abandonment with her cushions, I'll say because I'm in London, but we did a survey of the top 500 e-commerce websites across Europe. And even across the largest companies, the majority of them had at least 3 issues or errors with their checkout, whether it be autofill or the types of payments they accept or localization. And, that's for the biggest businesses. If we think about the hundreds of thousands of small businesses coming online, how can we make it easy and seamless for them to ensure that they're, able to fairly seamlessly create a trusted and straightforward payment experience for their new customers, whether they're a recurring customer or someone that's brand new. And I think, there are simple ways to think about that, like autofill, but there are other ways that we've seen as businesses are trying to expand internationally, or, potentially you're based in Germany, but have a large customer base in the Netherlands. Simply by switching on Ideal in the Netherlands or GiroPay or Sofor to the local payment methods, that provides, so much more trust in the payment experience for the customer, and is a critical part of ensuring the checkout completion takes place, and you're building that brand affinity and seeming more local to them.
Yeah, I'm really pleased you mentioned the international element, because it's so important to give people payment methods they recognize. You can't just assume everyone's happy with a Visa or a MasterCard, because it's just not the case. Now, Nick, as well as what we can do right now with payments, there are always some really exciting developments going on in the payment space. So what should the brands watching today be getting ready in order to capitalize on what's coming up in the next 12 months?
Great question. There's a lot going on. I think what was really interesting, a few months ago, we ran a survey of e-commerce companies with Forrester to look at how e-commerce companies were thinking sort of in the midst of the pandemic and post-pandemic. And 56% of them said they were looking to new business models to help fuel their growth. And I think there, are a lot of e-commerce companies that were pretty direct retail, type of businesses, but they're thinking now about how do we introduce things like recurring payments and recurring business models? How do we introduce things like marketplaces? Like, what's the role of buy now, pay later? And should that be part of something that we're factoring in the future? With marketplaces as well, or companies that maybe were born online but are creating, brick and mortar stores as well. What's their point of sale solution? Is everything integrated as far as their reporting and all of that's concerned? Card issuing, I think, will become an even bigger thing for us as we start to look at delivery services and things like that, where businesses need to equip their team members with the ability to purchase things via card issuing. And then I think there are sort of the next phase of what businesses are looking for within their payment solution is, it's tough to stay on top of all of the regulation, all of the tax changes, everything happening. And, for a small business to do that, they don't want to become payments experts. And so, they're looking to businesses to say, help us with compliance, help us with the new SCA, strong customer authentication regulations that are rolling out across Europe. Help us with our tax reporting. Help us think about how we manage our accounts. Help us think about how we access capital. Help us think about how we offset our climate emissions. These are sort of all things that we're thinking about at Stripe, and thinking about how we can help any business, whether they have a payments team or are a 5-person business who's not payment experts. How are we helping them figure out and solve those problems of those sort of next generation use cases?
I love that you are so far thinking with all of this, because I remember, when I first got involved in this industry in the early 2000s, the only time payments was mentioned was by retailers going, "What rate are you getting? Have you got a better rate than me? What rate did you manage to negotiate?" And that's all anyone cared about. But it's now such a fundamental part. And because of the way things integrated, there's so many ways by being on the right payment platform, we can improve the customer experience, improve conversion rates, and lower the back end effort. It's fantastic. David, you were talking a little bit about payments earlier, so I wonder if you wanted to add anything into what Nick was saying there, or any of the rest of you, if you wanted to jump in on that one.
I'll give you an example from a vertical I know very well, the food industry. There is a customer who used to sell in millions before COVID. What they used to do, they were business to business type of business. COVID came, all these people who are making shakes closed, shut down. One day, you wake up in the morning, your millions of dollars business is gone. So the first thing they did, and that's super smart, they took a partner. They took a company that knows very well how to build websites. One of the advantages of Wix is Velo. You can basically reprogram every component inside Wix, front end, back end. So they used Velo for them. And these days, we introduced Wix Point of Sale. So with Wix Point of Sale, they're able to basically integrate their offline business with their online business. They went back to the world. They're selling now in the real world. They're selling in the online world. Huge amount, 600% growth in the food industry through COVID. Amazing, year over year. Amazing, 600% growth. 6 times more than before in the online. These customers are never leaving. They are continue to buying from them. Consumers are continue to buy for them, but now their businesses are coming back to them. They have to sync the inventory. It's the same ingredients. Only if you integrate your offline world with your online world, a big business can succeed. And I think that the biggest tip I can give, that if that much is at stake, take a really good partner. We have numerous amount of them. They're all experts in Wix. Quite honestly, our partners know my product better than I know it.
It's crazy. 600%. That is mind blowing. And now we have talked about the tech stack. We have talked about marketing. We've touched on loyalty. We've talked payments. Now it's time to kind of double down into retention with our fourth panelist, Mike, because I think one of the most interesting changes the pandemic has led to is that we are seeing a new focus on customer retention, both because of the number of new customers brands have got. I mean, if your sales have gone up 600%, there's a huge opportunity to be looking at that customer retention piece now, bigger than there's ever been before. You cannot afford to ignore it. I would say you couldn't have before, but I'm a marketer, so that's what I'm supposed to say. But now you really can't. Also, I think it's grown because a lot of marketing teams, they haven't had the stock. So, acquisition has had a cap placed on it. So what are you going to do? You've got to spend your time. You've got free time to look after existing customers. So coming to the question, because there is a question coming in all of this. From your perspective, Mike, what's the most powerful way brands can go about improving those customer retention rates?
Yeah, so just to give some context on the dynamic we saw over the past year is every sort of category had much more competition. So David mentioned sort of food and beverage, 6x growth. I mean, there were similar categories, let's say microbreweries in North America just went crazy through COVID. They would only do in-person sales before COVID. Now there's probably, I don't know, dozens of microbreweries selling online in every city across North America. So everyone was scrambling to get online, and that was the big rush early on. Now that everyone's online, every individual brand, including you, if you own a Wix store, you have more competition than ever. So once you get a customer, it's really, really important to keep them, and that's sort of the big opportunity ahead of you in the next year. So what we really focus on at Smile is we think about the post-purchase experience. So you work hard to acquire these customers, you owe it to yourself to retain them. And one thing I would recommend doing is really being your own customer at least once a month. So going through the shopper experience, maybe even doing it under a pseudonym, and so even your own support team doesn't recognize you. So like guest shopping is what it's called in the retail world, or the physical retail world. But look at everything. Look at whether the branding is consistent, whether you get email flows that make sense, whether you get inundated with emails right after purchase and then nothing for weeks after. And then think through the returns experience. If you're going to return that product that you just bought, does that actually lead to retention in the future? Everything there should be seamless and friction-free. And you'll probably notice hiccups in there and things that you notice you could do better. So if there's one thing I'd recommend, it's that. But beyond that, creating a really engaging loyalty program, this usually, as we talked about other parts of the commerce stack, this was available to large brands. I mean, you see Sephora and Starbucks did this very well sort of about 10 years ago, but now that's available to any Wix merchant, and you can set up a program in minutes. If you have a purchase frequency that is a little bit more infrequent, you want to be more aggressive with your rewarding. So if you have purchases that are once every 6 months or 12 months, you maybe want to be more aggressive. And then if you have more frequent purchases, let's say you're a coffee subscription site or a coffee roaster, then you maybe want to reward sort of 5% back or something like that. But those are the two things I'd really recommend. Be your own customer, and then set up a loyalty program that can actually provide someone with an incentive to come back to you, as opposed to one of your new competitors that's come online in the past year.
Excellent advice there, Mike. And I particularly like, pointing out that competition aspect of it all as well, because I think that's something which, we can get really focused on the new customer acquisition competition side of it, but actually how do we win despite the competition? We look after our existing customers. So I love that angle. Now, with all this increased focus on retention, there must be a lot of innovation going on, and you get to see behind the scenes at a lot of retailers. So are there any clever new tactics you've seen retailers come up with that you're able to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. I can run through a couple of them. I'm sure David has also seen a lot of these over the past year with the data he has access to. So we've seen really interesting ones from existing stores, but then also mostly from stores that are coming online for the first time. We're seeing pizza stores that converted to subscription delivery, like frozen pizza supplies. So you can have your own sort of pizza subscription every month. So monthly delivery clubs are a very common one. Transitioning to curbside pickup, the sort of online to offline transition that David mentioned. So where someone will shop online out of necessity because everything was locked down, and then they become a physical sort of retail shopper, and then they sort of transition between the two to infinity after time afterwards. Another one that we're seeing that's very unique is groups of, and maybe you've seen this if you pay attention to social media and you follow a local gym or a local juice store, you may see them cross-promoting other brands locally, where it'll be one gym, one fitness trainer, one juice shop, one clothing, like local clothing store, and they all sort of band together and promote each other. So we're seeing these local groups of sort of coalitions of merchants cross-promoting each other. That's a really, really cool one, because it's actually retention across a group of merchants versus retention to a single merchant, which is really interesting. And then we're seeing very, very aggressive rewarding to get people to come back. Now you potentially don't have the overhead of your shop with your staff there. So you can actually get really aggressive with cashback or a loyalty program in the sort of 5 to 10% range. Because if you think about the unit economics of going and acquiring a new customer, that's always good to do through the sales channels we mentioned and advertising. But if you have a customer, what percentage back would you like to give them to get them to come back again? It's likely probably in that 5 to 10% range. And that's really compelling for a shopper and really good for you. So lots of different techniques, and I could probably go on about this, and I'm sure others here have seen unique things over the past year. But getting creative with this, I mean, if we have more lockdowns in the future, you're going to see more and more innovation. The cool thing is we've sort of jumped ahead 5 years in terms of all these techniques over the past year. And I think that's the real takeaway, is like a forcing function here is created all this creativity, and everyone's come out ahead of it. But if I were a retailer and you're listening to this, then I'd recommend trying a couple of those and seeing which ones work for your business and trying to implement one of those over the next few months. And I think that could be really cool as an experiment. It works or it doesn't, but at least you'll learn something from it.
What I love about all those ideas, Mike, is that none of them are expensive to test. You know, this isn't something you need $100,000 budget for. This is, you could probably do this with a tenner, let alone £100, dollars, euros, wherever you are. It's very, very low cost entry, but yet so innovative and clearly working well for people. We've got a few minutes before we have to wrap up. So all of you were nodding at various points during everyone else's session. So has anyone got any other clever ideas they'd like to? Oh, David is gesturing to me frantically. So David, would you like to come back and share another idea for the audience?
So I want to start with, if someone connects 3 payment gateways, they sell much more. So connecting as many payment gateways. And the amazing thing that in the year 2020, Wix users processed more than $5.4 billion on our platform. That's an amazing number I'm really proud of, because it represents our user success.
Brilliant. Thank you, David. And we've just got time for me to come to the other 3 of you for your last thoughts before we wrap this up. So Ghazal, I'll come to you first. Is there any last thought, any last tip you'd like to leave our viewers with?
I think I'm going to go back to the values piece, because it's just so, I mean, it's so important to me. And I think it's so underestimated when we start thinking about how to market my product, all the things that are really important in that customer journey. How can I make sure that my product gets visibility? How can I make sure I offer, seamless payments, etc. And I think most of the times when someone decides to be really brave, like many people that are listening in today, to leave a job and to go and start a business, which I know many people can relate to, it's a tough decision. And there's usually some deep values that are driving it, and be loud and proud to the market and the consumers and your future customers of what those values are. And I think it was someone that mentioned it earlier, that talk to your friends and family, because sometimes it's hard to articulate those values. Talk to your friends and family, put some posts up on social media, get the feedback, reiterate, just to make sure that you're serving yourself, your values, and your business well.
Excellent final thought. Nick, come to you next.
Yeah, I think as Mike mentioned, we've seen hundreds of thousands of new businesses come online, and there's lots of competition. And I think the most important thing a business can do is really be thinking about how they're creating a great user experience and how they're making sure that their customers are having a great interaction with them, whether that be at the time of purchase or through till they become, hopefully recurring customers. And so thinking about that, both from the discovery phase, if you're thinking about, the Google search aspect of things, through to the conversion, through to retention, I think just making sure that there's that great customer experience across it all is critical and can help you stand out.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. And the last word goes to Mike.
Thanks. Yeah, so if there's one recommendation I would take away from this, you probably heard a lot of great tactics. And Chloe mentioned, none of these are super expensive. They do require a bit of time and a bit of hard work, but they're worth the effort to try and see if it works for you. So I'd recommend, the best businesses that we've seen over the past year are the ones that have tried the most things, and eventually they hit that one thing that just really, really resonates with their shopper base. So whether it's the curbside pickup, whether it's the monthly delivery clubs, loyalty programs, reviews, talking about your values, I'd recommend just trying everything in quick iterations, getting to something that really resonates for your shopper base, and you'll really find that successful.
Excellent. Oh, that was like the perfect final word. Well, a huge thank you to all four of our panelists, who I think you guys watching, they have seriously given you a great set of things to do in your business and a great start to this event today. Now, watch out tomorrow for the event wrap-up email that will be coming to you with more great content and also the replays from this session. For now, though, two things should be appearing in the chat for you. One is a link to join the Wix Facebook group. And that is a great place for you to get help with your questions, getting them answered both by Wix experts, Wix partners, I'm sure, are in there as well, which David explained in such glowing terms earlier, and other Wix users too, so you can learn from other people building businesses just like yours. And also in the chat there should be a link to the satisfaction survey for you to give Wix feedback on this event and this session, so they can create more great content to help you build your businesses in the future. Finally, please stick around for the rest of this event, because this has only been the first session in the Wix e-commerce growth summit, and there are several. Well, all of them are excellent. All the sessions coming up are, in my opinion, must watch. So make sure you're going through those in the next few hours. Starting off with Dania Bernard, who's sharing growing traffic, bringing relevant shoppers to your store, which I can't think of an e-commerce business for which that is not relevant. So you have to stick around for that one. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's sessions, and thank you for tuning into this one.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Rob Goodman, executive producer at Wix. Thank you for joining us today for the Wix e-commerce growth summit. A big thank you to our panelists from Google, Stripe, Smile.io, and Wix, who've just wrapped up a great panel discussion, The New Normal of Accelerated E-commerce Growth. If you missed the panel or want to catch up on any of today's events at a later time, you can find recordings at wix.com/ecommerce/school. We're moving into the first of 3 sessions today, hosted by Wix product experts, where we'll cover how you can grow your traffic to your store, create conversions with your customers, and foster loyalty and community with your shoppers. We'll close the day with a hands-on workshop on the Wix tools that'll support you in growing your online business. Between each session, our hosts will be answering questions posted to our Wix e-commerce Facebook community at facebook.com/groups wix stores. Throughout the sessions, you're welcome to drop questions directly into the chat for our moderators. Let's get started with our first session, growing traffic, bringing relevant shoppers to your store with Dania Bernard. Welcome, Dania.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wix e-commerce growth summit. My name is Dania Bernard, better known as Website Godmother. I'm the founder of DB Creative Agency and started building websites after MySpace inadvertently taught me HTML in 2006. Since then, I've shared my knowledge to thousands of creative entrepreneurs, government agencies, and tech companies. One of my gifts is helping brands identify their unique connecting points that deliver value to people in the world. Today, I'm here to share strategies that will position you to attract the right type of customers to your online store. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge you for taking decisive action to move beyond your comfort zone. You made the decision to move into the growth zone where you'll gain new skills and capabilities. This summit is a place where you'll acquire strength and expertise and produce new results for your online store. So, one of the questions I hear the most from creative entrepreneurs is, how do I get more traffic to my website? Because for many modern entrepreneurs, no online traffic means no business. If you have a product, service, or message you believe in, knowing how to create a steady stream of online traffic is essential so you can do the work you're meant to do in this world. The good news here is you're about to add 4 actionable and no-cost strategies to your online toolkit that'll help you generate the traffic you want and deserve. Before you leverage sales channels, gain clarity about who you're selling to. This is how you'll locate your people. Whether you realize it or not, your customers do not make decisions alone. There are many people around your customer who influences what she thinks, feels, and most importantly, whether or not she buys your products or services. It's vital to know the key influencer in your customer's life and how to make sure your marketing includes this very important person. Once you've made this discovery, choose a platform that will connect your brand to your customers and their key influencers. There are several sales channels for you to choose from. The ones you see here are low or no cost options that are relatively easy to set up. Instagram, Facebook, eBay, and Amazon are already integrated to the Wix platform, so these tools are easily managed in the website dashboard. For Pinterest and TikTok, I recommend you have a business account set up and complete some foundation tasks. We're going to dive deeper into that later on. On Instagram, to reach a niche audience, find hashtags that your followers actually engage with. Followers that connect to the post so it shows up in their feed. They'll be able to browse products directly from their feed and click through to your website to complete the checkout. I like to create 3-page carousel posts with a product tag. For the first photo, you want your product to be merchandised, styled, being worn by a model, or being used by an actual customer, and most importantly, connected to a product in your online store. In the second photo, you want a plain white view, clear backdrop, like a stock photo of your product in plain view. And with the third slide on the carousel, multiple options you can take here. You can actually add another angle of the stock photo or add a call to action. Don't be afraid to ask for that sale. Or you can offer an incentive, which I like free shipping, to encourage visitors to go to your site and see what else you have to offer. So in 2020, this Wix user generated nearly 23,000 visits from Instagram alone. She did all of this without spending a dime on paid ads. Yes, this is all organic traffic right here. Success on any platform doesn't come from posting occasionally. It comes from posting consistently and engaging with your audience. If Instagram checks all the boxes for your business, you can set this up all from the dashboard in a matter of minutes. If you've ever felt like you've hit a wall with content, the social post tool is perfect for driving traffic and business from social media back to your site. I know business owners who are making themselves sick and stressed because of the constant content treadmill. They don't have the right mindsets or habits in place and they're burning out. This tool helps you generate relevant, high-quality content because it's easy to get done, and you'll be more likely to post consistently and generate traffic to your website. So according to Wix, this is really interesting data on Facebook paid ads. And Facebook paid ads is something we're all familiar with. You know, you're constantly seeing ads when you scroll up and down your feed. Wix stores that run Facebook ads by Wix campaigns earn an average of over 1,000% return on ad spend. Moreover, 40% of Wix stores that use Facebook and Instagram ads by Wix have doubled their sales. Let's take a closer look at this. Facebook and Instagram support the traffic objective designed to drive people to your website, and it's the cheapest way to actually advertise on these platforms. People who are known to convert, specifically people who would buy a product or service from a new brand as the direct result of an ad, are some of the most highly targeted people on Facebook. It's going to cost you a pretty penny to reach these folks. On the other hand, there are more people likely to click on a link and read the piece of content that interests them than people who would convert quickly. And naturally, because fewer advertisers are targeting these users, reaching them is actually more affordable. I've managed campaigns on the native Facebook Ads Manager and with Facebook Ads by Wix, and it was a total night and day experience. Running ads on Facebook, it's a legitimate business skills that requires constant testing and fine-tuning. Making a mistake can cost you tears and untold amounts of money. Facebook ads by Wix took the guesswork out of running ads and saved tons of money on ad spend. But you're going to learn a lot more about this feature later with Liat. She's going to discuss how you can turn visitors into loyal customers. On Facebook, if you're not running ads, there's an organic way you can actually drive tons of traffic to your website. And the most effective I found to be are giveaways, contests. People love getting free stuff, especially if it's fabulous. And this is like the best way for you to get traffic to your website and gain more followers on Facebook and your other social media pages. Make the contest so enticing that people will be compelled to sign up. And the details, make sure you include one that requires that followers go to your website to complete their entry. Add your website URL to the post caption. If your giveaway catches people's attention, it will be reshared at lightning speed. And from a marketing perspective, this is absolutely priceless. The network makes your content reach people beyond your audience for free. You can offer an additional entry for followers that shares your post to their audience in their Facebook stories. The key is to find something for people to do that reinforces your brand or business, but that breaks out from the norm so it attracts the attention of other people. When Facebook visitors land on your site and enter their details for the contest, you just collected a lead. This is the tried and true enter to win format. You'll be able to connect with these people again when you're ready to sell. For example, try sending an email blast to the new leads to drive traffic to your website. As you can see here, this Wix user heavily relies on Facebook to gain traffic to her website. And compared to last year, Facebook has become even more relevant for her business to gain traffic. Pinterest is one of the most underrated search engines out there. And that's because most people don't realize that Pinterest is actually a search engine. It's not a social media site. And there is gold in Pinterest because if you're a brand that has a product that is specifically targeting women, this is the place you want to be because 71% of Pinterest users are females. And women are the world's most powerful consumer, driving 80% of consumer spending in the United States alone. We hold the purse strings and we're creating Pinterest boards of products that catches our attention. There's a huge opportunity to gain traffic and customers from Pinterest here. So the words that you use on Pinterest can be just as powerful as the images you share. Use simple keywords for board titles, board descriptions, pin descriptions, and image metadata. TikTok is the new rave. It's a relatively new social network that suddenly just exploded while we were all in quarantine. And this Wix user at just 19 years old, Angela Morrison, is having 5-figure months and millions of views of her business because of TikTok. After one video, she brought in nearly $40,000 in sales for her company, UltraSmile, and they sell a 3-sided toothbrush. On TikTok, clicks can come directly from the links shared in your bio. So you want to make sure you complete your TikTok bio so you can start getting clicks to your website. If you post and your audience reacts immediately, this means, you're posting in a good time, your engagement rate is going to spike and it's going to spread across the platform much faster than if you actually posted and uploaded in an off-peak time. You do also have the option to buy ads on TikTok, or you can go directly to any TikTok influencer account and ask for a shout out price. Why? Because your target audience will know you even better because they're going to trust that influencer more. And there's a bigger bang for your buck because the cost per conversion is much lower through a TikTok shout out than it is, buying the TikTok ad from the platform. It's a total win-win situation. And it's the exact strategy that other major brands are using to gain leverage on this platform and to the audiences. eBay. This is one of my favorites. I love eBay. I've had eBay for a very long time. I've actually been a seller on eBay since 2009, and gone are the days where listings can only be managed on the eBay platform. The one thing that I just found exhausting about eBay is that it couldn't be linked to a website. And if you added your website links to a product listing, your listing would get flagged because eBay highly frowns upon transactions happening outside of their platform. So the best way to get eBay customers to your website is by adding a flyer that offers an incentive, whether that be a % off, a BOGO, or etc. This encourages your customer to make their next purchase directly on your website rather than going back to shop on eBay. You also want to invest in branded packaging with your own online store details that are clearly visible and include these branded photos in your listing. So people can see as they scroll through, maybe this seller has a lot more going on at this place because I just keep seeing this URL everywhere, and people are more likely to leave that app, open a new tab if they're going, browsing eBay on their computer, and check out your website to see if you have more items that are relevant to their needs. And you'll also want to have all your business details clearly listed in your eBay shop. Make it easier for customers to contact you off eBay. So if you have an e-commerce website and an eBay store, it's literally double the work since you have to cross-check inventory and combine reporting from your website versus your eBay account. Now you can actually connect your Wix stores directly to your eBay shop without all the headache. On Amazon, there's actually no direct way to get Amazon traffic, people from Amazon traffic directly to your website. And that's just because Jeff Bezos doesn't want his people leaving his app. Amazon does not want shoppers leaving the app. So you'll have to meet your customers where they are in this case. And Amazon listings can actually be created and managed directly from the website dashboard. So you can keep track of everything in one place. So according to Wix stores, adding an additional sales channel can increase your sales by up to 12%. And for obvious reasons, you're delivering your product, there are more opportunities to buy. So here, SEO is the bread and butter of anything online, and it is absolutely essential. This is probably the most integral part of getting organic traffic to your site is the search engine optimization, especially if you're a brick and mortar business targeting your products and service to locals. If you've gone through the trouble of putting up a website for your local business, let's make sure it's helping you get customers. The Wix SEO Wiz creates a custom-tailored SEO plan with tutorials to help you improve your website's search engine ranking. It gives you the space and grace to be a beginner because SEO can be overwhelming, right? So the step-by-step plan is designed to help you improve your site's SEO, and it's something you want to take advantage of because online stores that connect SEO tools experience an average of 21% increase in traffic. And why does that happen? This SEO Wiz is a step-by-step plan that's going to actually point out the weak spots, giving you helpful tips to improve your site. So let's see it in action here. This Wix user sells wigs from a physical location, and her keyword is wig shop, among others. From here, the SEO Wiz works like magic to deliver a customized plan that will drive traffic to her website. And as her business evolves, so will her SEO plan. So it's important for this Wix user to stay up to date with her results with her SEO Whiz results. And as you see here, you know, hasn't been updated in a while. And that's the beauty of the SEO Whiz. You can pick up right where you left off. But it's better to get this done sooner than later, so these changes can translate to the search engine. This alone is so important for the long-term success for your business, because this not only drives traffic to your website, it also gets people walking through your doors because they'll be able to find you. According to Wix, sites that complete SEO setup receive twice as many visitors and 1.3 times higher turnover. That's good news. So SEO is a strategy that should be a long-term investment. You want to keep at it. This should be the more consistency than social media. And blogging, this is a tried and true technique, which is also tied in with SEO to receive traffic to your website. And when you're first getting started with blogging, you publish an article and you attract about 100 readers, a few hundred maybe. But what if your article is applicable to 1 million readers? The trick here is to write less, promote more, and you won't be so stressed out about blogging to get more traffic to your website. When you're first starting out, writing a backlog of keyword-rich blog posts for your website is kind of a heavy thing to do, right? Embrace the simple framework of quality over quantity. Create a quality blog post with Wix Blog and get it out to as big of an audience as you possibly can. There's hidden gold to be found in Facebook groups, and try sharing your blog posts there. If you want more traffic to your website, you've got to get yourself out there. You can repurpose your blog content into a Facebook post. Having content-rich posts immediately alerts people that you're credible and useful because you bring value each time that you post. You can do this by summarizing your findings or key strategies from your blog post, offering insight to what you talked about in your blog post, and mentioning new tips and strategies that aren't in your blog post. The trick here is to make sure you link your business page or your fan page to your personal profile. So when someone reads your Facebook post in a group and clicks back on your name, they'll see your business page, which will then drive traffic to your website. This is an example here on the right that you see by a Wix user, Dania Bernard. This Wix user posts consistently on their blog. And I mean, it's a steady stream of traffic. And they've been doing this business for a few years now. And obviously it's a strategy that works. You know, the more fresh pages that are being connected to your website, the more Google will recognize your business and put your page to the top. So with Facebook groups, not just with blogs, but targeting Facebook groups, it's a very lucrative strategy because there's so many Facebook groups for any specific niche, and it's easy to grow your audience and traffic. Here's a screenshot of a Facebook group that I've joined. It's called Black Women Workout. And the real reason why Facebook groups is such a hit is because they are more visible with your audience. It's a group full of like-minded individuals. And by far, the most effective strategy to get people on your website is to participate in the group's promo days. The admin will usually tell you what days they allow promotions in the group descriptions or in a pinned post. The easiest way to keep track is to use a spreadsheet and list out all the promo days in the groups that you're in, and then start promoting your content on those days. Here we have the influencer strategy. And this is a picture of one of my favorite moments with me and Shaq. And I like to use Shaq as the influencer example because Shaq is one of the first athletes to recognize the power of social media. With 19.2 million followers on Instagram and 15.5 million followers on Twitter, Shaq has become one of America's top pitchmen. Shaq can teach us all something about influencer marketing after being the face of so many brands like Papa John's Pizza, Reebok, Zales Jewelers, Muscle Milk, Pepsi, Burger King, and the list just goes on. So we're all too familiar with the influence that celebrities have, that viral factor that crashes websites and sells products out in minutes. But what about the micro-influencers? Are they able to generate substantial traffic and sales for your business? Actually, they can. and they can actually make more of an impact than many celebrities because they're more focused on niche markets and they have a deeper connection level with their audience and generate greater engagement. Micro influencers with about 1,000 followers generated 85% higher engagement than those having 100,000 followers. And this is the number of followers increases, the engagement tends to decrease. And staying within that 1,000 to 100,000 follower range proves to be the most effective method. It just makes sense. A smaller audience means so much more hands-on personal interaction, right? So your micro influencer is more likely to talk through common pain points with their audience and connect with them at eye level to get real with them about your product. Whereas a celebrity influencer like Shaq is likely being paid big bucks to do the same thing. So you're not going to get your audience to necessarily trust your product in the long haul. A lot of businesses have an email list, but they do nothing with it. And this is one of the best ways you can connect with your shoppers because everyone has an email address. So if this is you, if your business is one of those businesses just having an email list collecting cobwebs, this is one of the best ways to generate traffic right away. And it's just sitting right under your nose. An email list gives you access to large group of customers just waiting to stay in touch with you, right? That's pure gold. And these subscribers, you want to nurture and grow your relationship with them, and consistently sending them emails is what's going to make that happen and drive traffic to your store. So here is a Wix user that sent one email, she was having a sale on Black Friday and it was last minute spur of the moment, and she sent an email to 2,000 people and got $3,000. That's a great return on investment. Why? Because emails cost you nothing to send. And the most effective way to grow your email list is with a lead magnet. It's a relevant, valuable incentive that you give away in exchange for an email address. It builds trust with your new subscriber and lets them know your brand and demonstrates the value that you have to offer. So, the key to this here is actually staying in touch. And this user was consistent, with staying in touch with the customers. That revenue could have been larger, but we're still happy because $3,000 is a lot more than $0. So send that email. Bring people to your business. Bring people to your website. And if you want to make it easier on yourself, I recommend that as soon as you get that customer to opt in, you follow up with an automatic sequence of welcome emails to continue to earn trust. And that you can set up in the dashboard. It's a multi-step automation. It's the best thing ever. It saves you so much time to have those emails triggered by a certain amount of days. And don't be afraid to ask for that sale. You choose a frequency that is appropriate for your business, whether that be every week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever works. You just have to be consistent so you can get that steady stream of traffic. Another email that works like magic to get traffic to your website is the abandoned cart email, my absolute favorite tool. According to Wix data sales, Wix stores with active abandoned cart recovery automations increase sales by up to 29%. And there is a trick to do this, because there's nothing more frustrating than when a website visitor is almost at the finish line, almost at checkout, and then they just disappear. Like, that's the worst thing ever, and not all is lost when someone abandons a cart. There's still time. There's a sweet spot. You have to hit this customer with a high dose of FOMO to get them back to your website. And you want to be strategic with what time that abandoned cart email is triggered, because you want to study your customers so well that you want to know, what did they do when they left your website? Did they go to another website? Did they see your competitor? Did they start up another app? Did they have breakfast? Like, what time did this happen? You want to study your customers so well, so you know that you can almost predict when they'll think about your product again. And that's when that abandoned cart email needs to reach the inbox. So for this email, the best way to structure it is by focusing on a single product, because especially if a customer leaves multiple products in their cart. It's going to be really hard to be like, hey, come back and get all your stuff. You want to focus on one thing, just a single product in their cart. And you want to focus actually on like a best-selling product. And when you add reviews of this product that they've left behind, it's like, you guys, this is a highly rated product. Everybody wants it. And you left it in your cart. So by the time you get back, it may be out of stock. It may not even be there. And that is just the right amount of FOMO at the right time. And if you combine, your product ratings and give your customer reviews on top of that, the words you use on that abandoned cart email, plus the customer's words, from the reviews, it gives some objectivity here. And it really makes it a compelling enough email to get the customer back on your website and initiate that purchase. And lastly, you want to inspire your customers to buy with their hearts. You want to share the emotional benefits of your products. And I say that because, do you think you know what your customers needs more than they do? As creatives, we fall in love with our products and services, but when sales don't take off, it makes us want to scream like, how do they not know how amazing this product is? But here's what you have to remember. Your business exists because it's here to serve your customers. And the best way to do that is by asking them what they want. Start by helping them reach the goals they want to achieve with your product. Use the language that they're using to describe their pains, their frustrations, their dreams, and their aspirations. Customers rarely buy what you think you're selling. So you've got to get clear on what they really want. For example, if I buy anything from Victoria's Secrets, I'm not buying just undergarments. I'm buying the extraordinary confidence of a Victoria's Secret angel and the beauty of luxurious lingerie. The key is getting customers to open their wallets, is getting them to open their hearts, imagination, and emotions. So I want you to turn this insight into action by writing a list of emotional benefits people associate with your products. Once you've compiled this list, circle the benefits you genuinely provide so you can highlight them in your marketing. By doing this, you'll effortlessly drive traffic to your website across customer touchpoints because your brand is speaking directly to their hearts. You're speaking their language. So I close with this. The best way to close a sale is by getting your customer to open their hearts. Thank you so much for listening in today. And if you found any of these strategies to be useful for your online business, download a bonus guide so you can put even more traffic generating tips to use right now. You'll be able to learn additional strategies that support the long-term success of your online store. If you have any other tips or proven strategies to share about traffic generation, leave a comment in our Facebook group and add your genius to the conversation. The Wix e-commerce community is so rich and wise, and I want to thank you as always for being a part of it. Do you know any creatives or business owners who could use more traffic to their website? Send them a personal email with a link to this training. Your thoughtfulness could make all the difference in their success. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and spreading the word. You continue to make this one of the brightest and most inspiring places online. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dania, and to all of you in the audience for joining. Dania is now available for Q&A in the Wix e-commerce Facebook community. After a short break, we'll resume with our next session at 1:45 Eastern, Driving Conversion from Potential Shoppers into Sales, where I'll be sitting down with Noah Rosen from the knife company Forge to Table to discuss the tools that drove growth for his e-commerce business at forgetotable.com. And we'd love your feedback, so please let us know what you think of today's sessions via the survey link in the chat. And if you'd like to revisit any of today's talks, recordings are available on the Wix e-commerce school online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wix e-commerce growth summit. A couple of quick reminders before we jump into our second session of the day. During this session, you can ask questions directly into the chat, where you'll also find a survey to let us know your feedback at the end of the session. Just after our conversation, Noah will be jumping onto the Wix e-commerce Facebook to answer more of your questions. And if you'd like to revisit any of the sessions from today, you can find recordings on the Wix e-commerce school online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. Let's get into our second session now, a conversation with Noah from Forge to Table, where we'll be discussing driving conversion from potential shoppers into sales. Noah, it's great to see you and welcome. You're the owner and founder of forgetotable.com, which sells hand-forged Japanese-style knives. And I'd love to start off by hearing a little bit about the inspiration you had to start the business and how it's grown over these years.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. I'm excited to talk about my Wix website with Forge to Table. The way it came about, I founded Forge to Table as a culinary student out of my dorm room back when I was in college. It wasn't really inspired by anything besides necessity. So I did what a lot of young cooks do. I went out and looked for a real serious knife. I wanted to get myself a tool that really represented me and I would be proud to use in kitchens all over the place. I'd been in the industry for a few years as a cook and doing catering and things like that. I was really, mastering my craft. So I went out searching for a knife. It was really just one lucky step after another to connect with our Forge, Alex and Carol, their team over at the Forge. We created a first custom knife for myself. And then from there, it was off to the races. It really snowballed into this beautiful situation where I found all of my culinary peers and coworkers and cooks and fellow people in the industry here really had a need for well-made knives. They wanted something to be proud of and they wanted something unique. So, 4 years later, here we are, and Forge to Table is in 41 countries. We're in every single state. We're based here in Southern California with our Forge over in Southern China, and we're all family independently run. So it's a really fabulous organization, and it's been an exciting couple of years growing into it.
Talk to me about that growth that you've seen. Like, what has the scale been and what has the trajectory been, especially over these last 1, 2, 3 years?
It's been really just extraordinary. Like, we had never expected anything like this to take off. When we first started, it really was a sort of up in the air. Let's try this out. I got myself a knife and then I said, okay, let's make 200 of these. So it took about 6 or 7 months to source the right materials for that scale of production from the Forge. And we came through with 200 knives. I sold those quite literally out of my dorm to all of my peers. And then from there, it just started to scale. Since then, we've seen almost 400% growth over the past few years. We've gone from selling, about 50 knives a month to sitting closer to about 2,000 a month. And we've grown from our original 8-inch chef knife, which was the first blade for myself. Now we've got almost 20 different SKUs with accessories coming in and even apparel.
Wow. So you mentioned that the e-commerce site is built on the Wix platform, and I'd love to talk a little bit about the most impactful tools you've seen in growing your business on the Wix platform.
Absolutely. It's actually been a work in progress, which is kind of exciting to say, because when I first started out, it wasn't a necessity to have this big marketing effort behind it. It was sort of who I knew in the industry, 6 degrees of separation. The culinary industry is really connected. But then as we've grown, we've actually grown with new features. So as Wix releases something new, we integrate it into our business and figure out how it'll work for us. Some of the things that have really come into fruition really recently, as everybody knows, it's hard to reach people during COVID. You can't do shows. You can't go and meet people. You can't just walk into a kitchen and say, hey, chef, you need a knife? Like I used to do back when I was in school. It's all about now connecting to people digitally. So we've been able to leverage the email marketing, the AI advertising, and the manual Facebook ads through the Wix platform, as well as just having a good shop that people can find and discover, feel comfortable with, and have a really great, smooth ordering process too.
And let's dive into data. I'd love to hear about how you're using analytics on the Wix dashboard and how important that is for you in terms of using data to affect the decisions you use in building and growing, scaling, and shifting your business.
Absolutely. It's really fundamental to us because we've had such fantastic growth. A lot of it has been through good fortune and luck of people discovering our brand. Now it's something that I need to chase. So every morning I come in with my coffee and I sit down and I check out the dashboard. And one of the newer features on the dashboard is I can even see how many unfulfilled orders we have. And that tells me how quickly I need to finish my coffee and get to work. But I can enjoy my coffee, look at my dashboard. I can see our average orders, which is something that's really important for us. I can also track just from the dashboard how many of our customers are coming back and repeat shoppers, which really benefits us because any e-commerce, owner will know that there's a lot of cost in customer acquisition and having people coming back. That's a great metric to track. And then something as simple as how many orders we got, just to know week to week, month to month, what we're doing right, when we need to step up our marketing, when we can sort of take a break and focus on new products, or when we really need to double down on existing sales.
And in terms of digital marketing, I know that is a big part of your business, your organization, how you go to market. In terms of the tools and tactics that you've deployed, what have you learned over this time, over this past year, and what's really had that kind of biggest outsized impact on your business?
Well, this past year has changed for everyone. We're all very aware of that. Our business used to be about 50% with brick and mortar retailers. We loved working with independent, family run, even food distributors through the Northeast and things like that. We connected with these companies back pre-COVID. But now it's all about reaching directly into consumers' kitchens. We want to be on their feed. We want to be in their new profiles. We want them to see our knives and think that would be a really cool thing to add to my kitchen. And it's all about having great content and leveraging that for them. Then when you're setting forward your strategy, we've essentially got three main facets for how we do our marketing. We've got obviously our basic marketing for sales. We need revenue to grow. We want to, sell people knives. That's the core of the business here. That's our revenue model. On top of that, though, we're trying to become an established brand. And it's really hard these days, and something that's important and necessary, to establish who you are, because there's a lot of competition. Anyone can go online, and for knives especially, you can search up and find anything. But we want to establish ourselves as a brand that people can trust. And a lot of that comes from our customer service side. But we want to do entirely focused campaigns of marketing and advertising that have no intention at all to drive revenue, just for people to recognize who Fortune Table is, find one of our recipes, see some of our content and think, wow, that looks really yummy. And nothing more than that, because that'll stick in their mind. And then when they're looking for a knife, whether that's 3 months or 6 months down the road, or as a gift for someone completely different, they're going to think, what was that brand I saw? Let me go check out Fortune Table because I think I trust them.
So we're talking about building brand awareness, but let's also connect that to driving sales. And I know that for you and your customers, creating coupons has been an amazing tool in driving sales. So I want to hear a little bit about that decision to start using coupons, when you use them, and also how affiliates and influencers play into your coupon strategy.
Absolutely. These days, customers are looking for a bargain wherever they go. People want their dollar to go farther. And besides at our core offering a valuable product, coupons really play a big part. It's that conversion factor that someone is looking and they'll think, well, today's the day I'll buy, instead of letting it sit in their cart for a week or two. So we have three main types of coupons that we're leveraging for our brand. We're using our ongoing coupons for our industry discounts, for frontline responders, and for culinary students to really find the value for them and make sure that they stick with our brand, to really prove ourselves as connected to the industry and make sure we're connected to our customers on a personal level. And that is ongoing. Those coupons have existed from day one, and people reach out to us on a weekly basis to say, I'm a chef at so-and-so restaurant. Do you guys have a discount? And I'm always excited to talk with them about the food that they're making. And it really is part of our brand loyalty. Then we have coupons that are targeted sales. Like right now, we're running our Father's Day promotion. We're putting a couple of our knives out that are specifically great knives for barbecue season and summer grilling and for Father's Day presents. We're putting targeted coupons, we're putting them into ads, we're putting them onto social media posts, and we're putting them through emails. Those have a set expiration window, but they're one of those, gotta buy now, gotta get the sale in. And it's exciting for customers. And usually those are specific to certain groups of products that we're trying to sell at a certain time and that have the most value at that time period based on seasonality for the customers. And then the last one, like you said, with affiliates, we really love some of our influencers and our content creators. We do not work with anybody that has to be paid. We only work with people that really like the brand. And I am always happy to be sending free swag and knives and connecting to new chefs and creators for this great content. And for them, we want to also offer value to their viewers, because our greatest example of this was Taku, Outdoor Chef Life on YouTube. And just over a year ago, he organically picked up one of our knives and did a comparison review and loved it. He fell in love with our brand. And I didn't even know he was doing this. I had a couple customers say, Noah, have you seen this video? And I reached out right away. And within the day, we created a coupon for him to post on his video. He wasn't taking a commission, but it made it so there was a great value on top of his endorsement for our knives to all of his viewers. And that was perfect. It was perfection and a miracle, because that video itself has racked up over 1 million views, and people have converted on that coupon because they saw that we reached out to Taku as a real company, as a genuine person myself, to connect and offer that value and really, make it worth their while to watch that review.
That's amazing. I mean, that speaks volumes about your product, that people are out there just loving it and wanting to talk about it. And then the fact that you can then find them, connect with them, kind of feed their content machine and bring them value for their customers through the couponing is just fantastic, and obviously feeds back to the business, which I love. In terms of tips you might have for other businesses who are thinking about a coupon strategy, or even finding influencers or affiliates that they might pair up with, do you have any advice or tips on getting started or building that strategy?
Absolutely. I think it needs to be something that when you're starting out, you're going to feel, because when I started out, I didn't have a lot of knives. So I didn't want to be giving things away for free. But it's something that you realize has a lot of value at the end of the day, because you're going to want to spend the time to go through Instagram, go through Facebook, go through Pinterest, find creators that you organically as a person have been following for years and really enjoying. Connect with them, tell them your story. Usually a small business is a great story that people really want to hear about. And if they feel passionate about it, they're going to pick up your product and they're going to promote it to their followers. And that's a great way to start building with micro influencers and connecting with people who, it's better to have one single Instagram person with 1,000 followers, but they really care about what that person says. The perfect first step. And you can find those people in your neighborhood, in your community, and you probably already know a few. So you can tell them, hey, I'm starting a new business. I'd love to show you what I'm doing and what you think. Share it on your socials. That would help me out so much. And people will do that for you. And it's a great way to start connecting with other influencers and other content creators, because it really is all a network. And then on the coupon side, you don't need to lead with it. I imagine that every other business owner feels like their product at full price is worth it, because that's how we as business owners create our pricing structure. It's not just about making money. It's about, what am I offering to the customer? Why are they going to enjoy this product as much as I do? And why are they going to be as passionate as I am? But then sometimes you need a coupon to convert those customers. You're not going to get everyone with your sales pitch, and throwing on a little sprinkle of a coupon helps. So you can connect with influencers who want to also grow their audience, especially on the micro side, by giving them coupons to share out, because that gives value to their followers and drives them to your product. But it's also crucial to not over coupon, never over discount yourself. Even with the ongoing discounts that we have, we're not advertising those. We love to connect to chefs when they reach out to us, but we don't constantly have a 10% off coupon on the website, or else our prices become pointless. We really want to make sure that the coupons are finding the right people. We want to give the value to people that really deserve it. Here, we really value veterans and frontline workers and industry professionals. So we always want to make sure that they can get a little edge on the discount, because we know how hard they work and we want to value that for them.
So another successful tool we see so many e-commerce businesses deploying is email, whether it's in automation or in organic content marketing. Talk to me a little bit how you're using both ends of the email spectrum and the kind of impact that has had on Forge to Table.
Absolutely. Email marketing is a really great facet for reaching new customers and existing customers, and it can be a really low cost way to convert people. It's something that can be done guerrilla marketing style. For us, we're using about 3 main types of emails on our website. We've got our set it and forget it, as I like to call it, our automated emails. So those are going after our abandoned carts. Those are follow-up coupons after someone purchases and things like that, to sort of let the customer see it. Not a huge return rate on those, but they're there. They're not a lot of effort. We set them up, we make sure they're working, and we check in on them every few months, but they're just reaching out to customers and doing their thing. Last month, we hit about a 14% abandoned cart recovery off of those automations. And that required 0 work last month on anyone on our team here. So it's great to have those running in the background, and it helps the brand feel official. When you get an official letterheaded email that says, how do you like your purchase? We're really glad that you ordered from us. Here's a coupon. We hope you come back or buy it as a gift for someone else. They're easy to have running in the background all the time, and they help with the brand. Then on top of that, we also have our automated subscribers for our blog. So our blog is a recipe blog where we're creating content and building a community around Forge to Table. No one buys a hand-forged chef knife who doesn't like to cook and doesn't like to eat. So we've created, through a lot of our chef network, some great recipes that people can try at home using our different knives. That goes out to the people that choose to subscribe to it to get delicious things in their inbox every or every other Friday. When that goes out, we also have a great conversion rate of people saying, oh, that's delicious. I don't have that knife. Let me add to my collection. And we've got coupons integrated in there as well, actually. And then our manual emails that go out probably once a month or a little more sporadic than that are about targeting sales. And the way that we've built that email list in the first place is with our value proposition to customers. Our email list knows that they are going to be the first people to find out about sales, restocks, and new products. Because you have to give someone a reason to give you an email. Everybody has a spam box in their email these days. Make sure that the customers really do want to see those emails from you. And using those sparingly and appropriately can drive high conversion on a single email.
And you've set all of this up on the Wix platform. And was that something kind of easy to do and intuitive?
Absolutely. Depending on how in-depth we want to go with our manual emails, we'll sometimes play around with Illustrator or Canva, as well as the Wix email creation software to make some powerful graphics that pop. But the automated emails are completely built within Wix. And there's something that take about 15 minutes, and make sure you test your emails. Always check your links and always check your typos and have someone proofread it. But those only take about 15 minutes to set up, and they'll run in the background because as a busy small business owner, you really need all the time you can get.
Yeah, that's amazing. The automations give you back that time you can put into building the business, into expanding your product line, finding new customers. I love all of that. And let's talk, we started to talk about content through the email, but also I want to hear a little bit more about the blog. How are you using it for inbound and outbound marketing, the kinds of content efforts that you're doing there, and how it ties into the marketing strategy?
Absolutely. So with the blog, or the recipe blog, as I should say, the really only outbound that's happening is that email marketing. It's our subscribers that click on it and they want to get more of that delicious content in their inbox, and they get inspired to pick up a new knife for their collection. It's all about the inbound though, because that not only helps build our SEO, but it's building our community. That's one of our biggest focuses for our Pinterest feed is our recipe content. Besides creating great content for our social media posts, it's these really delicious recipes that are craveable, yummy, and trendy options for people to see on their feed. It's something that you can enjoy our content without being a customer, but it does build that community and builds our brand. It's something that has been really fundamental to creating Forge to Table as a company, because we want people to look at us and think, oh, that's a food company. That's not just a knife or consumer company. They make something that I want to think about and read and enjoy, and that makes me hungry, because you have to be hungry to want to use a knife in the first place.
Awesome. And I love how you're using the blog to feed out to Pinterest and your other social channels as well. And I'd love to talk about what you're doing on social, both on the organic side and on the paid media side. Can you walk me through your strategy there, the ROI you've seen, and also what you've learned about advertising on these different channels?
Absolutely. So we've built out our social media because COVID called for it. We really needed to expand how our brand was reaching people, and having good, viable content not only builds the community and the brand recognition, but it does convert sales at the end of the day. Right now, we're on Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as advertising on Google. Now, across those platforms, we have very different target audiences and very different objectives. Like I said, our Pinterest is all about our recipe focus, because people are browsing Pinterest somewhat to shop, but a lot to get inspired. And we want to inspire them because they're going to get inspired by a dish that we made and they'll come back and purchase. Then our paid ads that goes through a lot of our Facebook and Instagram, as well as a little bit on YouTube through some of our great video content, again, from influencers. We're able to leverage those to directly convert as well as to grow the brand. Usually, I pretty much set forth that our target should be about 250% ROI, which is high already. But when we invest in marketing for the purpose of sales, we really do want to get a bang for our buck. And we've been lucky, because with our AI marketing and our AI ads through Wix, we're actually hitting closer to 330% ROI. And then our manual ads as well are doing closer to 400%. So that's a really great conversion for us on people clicking through to the site, reading on the site, seeing what we're all about, and then deciding, actually, yeah, I really want one of these knives in my kitchen. And it's great for us to be able to have all these influencers creating content, doing photo shoots here in our test kitchen, and building this network of photos and content that makes people really connect with the knives, because maybe it's a dish that they love to cook, or maybe it's something they love to eat and they've always wanted to cook. Maybe they just see it and think, God, that is a sexy knife. I feel like I deserve that. That's powerful. That's a strong, serious piece of steel. I want that in my hand right now. And connecting with these people through different channels and different types of content across the different social media platforms has really been beneficial to us as we sort of diversify who we're reaching and how we're reaching them.
That's awesome. I love the connection between the content, the product, the influencers, and the outreach. Like, it's all this amazing cycle. And it goes back to, again, an amazing product that people are excited about, but you're still connecting the dots in such a strategic, thoughtful way in both organic and automated systems and platforms. So I love hearing about that. Any learnings from your experiments and strategies on social where you maybe had like a big surprise or aha moment where you realized, hey, we've got to double down here, or we need to kind of completely change the strategy and pivot over here?
Absolutely. It's always a learning curve. We've found a lot of our posts will do better than others through all the analytics that we're pulling from the social media sites and through Wix. One of the things we learned pretty quickly was the posts that have humor in them or tie to something personally connected. If it's, either just current or funny, people engage with it more organically and through paid. It just gets more people going. People want to be fun online. People are a little fatigued from everything stressful going on. So instead, give them something fun to interact with. Aside from that, we've also had some serious aha moments when it comes to content. We have had some of our influencers and some of our creators that are so amazingly creative and talented and just making things that are fantastic that I couldn't even imagine. And when that happens, I think, okay, what do you need from me? Let me give you a full set of knives. Let's get this content in the cycle. How can we make more of this? And it's really about recognizing when someone has talent and not being afraid to say, I love your stuff. You're doing a great job. I mean, give your influencers a big head, because appreciate them for what they do, just like you should appreciate your team. Random people on the internet might plate up something delicious with our knives, and I am never hesitant to say, wow, that's delicious. How'd you do it? Tell me about it. Can I share this? Because getting content from other people excites your audience, because then they want to go home and make something with a knife they already own, and they want to feel connected to the brand. That's been a big learning curve for us, because for a long time, I kind of had the idea that, I'll go through, I'll schedule all my posts, la-di-da, it'll go up. You need to interact with people. It's cool to see a face to the brand, and it's cool to see customers interact with the brand too. So answering questions, connecting with content, and sharing that, people appreciate getting their stuff reposted. It's a really human emotion to love getting some praise and recognition. And that's a great way that we've been able to mobilize our campaigns and our audience.
Amazing. Noah, thank you so much for an incredible chat. This is your business, your baby. You obviously know it so, so well, but the way you've kind of taught all of us listening and watching today has been wonderful. And for all those tuning in, thank you so much. And Noah, thank you so much for a great conversation.
It's been a pleasure to talk. It's been exciting to share about what Fortune Table does and how we've grown. We're excited for a really fantastic rest of this year and a really great future too. Thanks so much, Rob.
Awesome. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Noah, for a great talk. And thanks to everyone for joining us. Noah is now jumping onto the Wix eCommerce Facebook community to answer your questions. Our next session starts at 2:30 Eastern Time, Optimizing Sales, Understanding Your Shopper's Behavior, with Liat Karpel-Gerwitz, Head of E-commerce Marketing at Wix. Liat will be talking about how understanding shopper behavior will help you prevent abandoned shopping carts and create conversions and long-lasting connections with your customers. And be sure to let us know what you thought of today's sessions via the link on the chat. If you'd like to revisit any of today's sessions, recordings will be available on the Wix e-commerce school online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wix e-commerce growth summit. We're kicking off now with optimizing sales, understanding your shopper's behavior with Liat Karpel-Gerwitz, head of e-commerce marketing for Wix. During this session, you can ask questions directly into the chat, where you'll also find a survey to let us know your feedback at the end of the session. Just after our conversation, Liat will be jumping onto the Wix e-commerce Facebook to answer more of your questions there. And if you'd like to revisit any of today's sessions, you can find recordings on the Wix e-commerce school online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. Welcome, Liat.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liat, and I lead e-commerce marketing at Wix. Today, we're going to speak about how you can grow sales by understanding shopper behavior. You have my handle on the screen, so feel free to hit me up on Twitter or LinkedIn to discuss today's session. 2020 was a year of explosive e-commerce growth. It changed the way that businesses sell online and how consumers shop online. And we definitely saw that growth at Wix. Today, we have over 700,000 active e-commerce stores around the world. In 2020, our users processed over $5.4 billion in online transactions. We saw 140% year-over-year growth in sales transactions and 114% year-over-year growth in sales revenue. So if 2020 was the year of the e-commerce pivot, 2021 is definitely the year of e-commerce strategy. This year, we've seen more brands and businesses than ever before adopt D2C tactics and strategies for marketing and sales in order to grow their e-commerce business. And today, we're going to speak about some of those. I'll walk you through some best practices, as well as examples of e-commerce businesses that I love. We'll focus on three main e-commerce growth metrics. First of all, shopper conversion rate, meaning how many of your shoppers actually convert into paying customers. Next up, average order value, how much on average a shopper is spending on every purchase. And then customer purchase frequency rate, how often your customers come back and buy again. So let's dive right in with our first growth metric, online shopper conversion rate. You want to focus on optimizing your buyer journey so that you increase that shopper conversion. In e-commerce, unlike a brick and mortar setting, customers don't get to interact directly with you or your business. They don't walk in the front door. You don't greet them. They don't pick up the products and try them out directly. So your online store has to do that work for you. The first thing that I want to recommend is focusing on how you use related items to show customers all relevant offers and options, instead of just limiting them to those that they encountered. Think about how a shopper arrives at your store. They possibly searched for your product online and came across your organic ranking or a paid ad. Maybe they saw sponsored content on social media, or perhaps an influencer recommended your product. Whatever it was, they arrived at your product page. They don't necessarily know your brand or your entire product offering. So you want to make sure from that moment on that they understand A, everything that you have to offer, and B, what else they could or should buy in addition to the product that they're looking at. We see that Wix stores who display related items on their product pages get an average of 43% more sales transactions. So let's see what this looks like in action. Here, we're looking at an online store called Ruby Love. Ruby Love sell period swimwear and underwear, and this is the product page for their swim bottoms. And you can see that Ruby Love very smartly are using related items for an upsell. They're showing similar products to the one that the customer is looking at that are superior or selling for a better price or are most popular with other customers. So that's a great way to make sure the customers are aware of the entire product offering and are choosing the one that's best for them, that provides them the most value. Another great way of doing an upsell is by creating bundles. And you can see an example of that here from Ruby Love as well. So they've taken some of the most popular swimwear items that customers usually purchase together, and they've bundled them for a better price. Next up, think about how you're communicating shipping fees to customers. You want to make sure that you're not surprising customers with any unexpected fees, certainly not shipping fees, because finding out about that very late in the purchase process can cause a customer to abandon their purchase. So make sure that customers can easily find all this information before they get to checkout. It's not to say that you necessarily have to cover the cost of shipping, but make sure you communicate them well. On average, we see that Wix stores who use shipping label services get 113% higher revenues. So here's another example from Ruby Love. This is my cart. I've added some products, and now I'm checking how I'm going to select shipping for them. So you can see that Ruby Love have made it very easy for the customer to see all options available for shipping as well as all related costs. And finally, when we're thinking about customer conversion, you want to remember to recover abandoned carts. Simply set up automations that will re-engage shoppers and encourage them to follow up on those purchases. We see that Wix stores with active abandoned cart recovery automations increase sales by up to 29%. That is a huge increase for one-time work that you do that continues to perform for your business time and time again. Here's a very straightforward, basic example of an abandoned cart recovery email. So you simply say to the customer, we noticed that you left something in your cart. Would you like to resume your order? Of course, you can get way more creative with this. You can think about layering on additional promotions or offers, discounts, coupons. Think about how you encourage customers to follow through on that purchase. Let's move on to our second growth metric, AOV, or average order value. Here you want to focus on how you provide customers value in order to increase that average amount that they're spending per order. Just being pushy or salesy or trying to get customers to spend more is not going to work in the long term and also might end up chasing customers away. What you want to focus on doing is really understanding what they need and want, and then how you provide them the most relevant offers that give them real value. Let's start by adding live chat to your online store. This is an amazing way to engage and connect in real time at key stages of customers' shopping journey, to really understand what it is that they're looking for, what it is that they need help for, and to make them the most relevant offers based on their needs. On average, we see that Wix stores who offer live chat get 8 to 12 times higher revenues. So here's a great example. This is an online store of Mambo Baby. They create baby floating devices. And you can see their live chat open down in the bottom right. And one of the things that they've done really well is first collect customers' contact info before engaging in the chat. So that way, if for whatever reason the chat discontinues, they're able to reconnect with the customer later on and continue to provide them great service. Next up, I do recommend considering offering free shipping if you can. Of course, you need to take this into account with your business model and your profitability margins, but still, it's definitely a great way to increase average order value. So my best recommendation would be set the minimum order that qualifies for free shipping at just slightly above what your current average order value is. And that will start to drag average order value up over time. So on average, Wix stores who offer free shipping, they have 18% higher AOV. So that's a great increase. And here's a really great example. This is House of Sunny. They're a great fashion D2C brand. And I can actually tell you that just last week, I did add an additional item to my cart when I shopped with House of Sunny. You can see up top in the hello bar there that they've listed the minimum price for free shipping. And it's a great driver for buying just one more item. And last up, I will say, think about your cross-sell strategy, not only from your product page level, but all the way through checkout, and continue to focus on offering customers real value. So on average, we see that Wix stores with cross-sell offers in product pages and checkout increase revenues by 43%. So let's take a look at a couple of examples about how cross-sell could work in checkout. This is the website of Colin Canary. Colin Canary is a luxury candle store. You can see here that I've already added a candle to my cart, and they've created an amazing cross-sell within their checkout experience. So you can see down the bottom right, there is a little pink checkbox asking whether this is a gift. And if you say that it is, you can quickly add in a greeting card as well as write the message right here for an extra $10. That's an amazing value to customers. So one thing that I'll point out while we're looking at the checkout, cross-sell works really well in a checkout scenario. Upsell does not. So imagine that I'd selected my candle, come to cart, and then Colin Canary would suggest a different candle to me. So that might start to create friction for the customer, confuse me. Which candle do I actually want? So that wouldn't be a great scenario. But by doing a cross-sell and offering me a complementary product that goes along with what I'd originally bought, and something that probably I would want in addition, they've created value for me and increased average order value for themselves. Another great example is from Ruby Love, same website we looked at earlier on in our session. So here you can see I've added a pair of swim bottoms to my cart. And Ruby Love has this great slider that comes in on the bottom right, and they're suggesting me adding some double-sided pads to go along with those swim bottoms. Again, a great value for the customer. I might not have realized that I need those pads to go along with the swim bottoms and could actually have been disappointed if I'd bought the swim bottoms without them. So they're giving me a great service, providing value, and again, increasing average order value as they go. And finally, make sure that you are giving your customers enough relevant payment options. I think there's nothing worse than losing a sale simply because a customer cannot functionally pay you. So you don't need to add every single payment method, but you do need to understand which payment methods your customers value most and are looking for, and try to include those in your online store. So on average, we see that Wix stores with 3 or more payment methods have 39% higher revenues. So here are a couple of examples. This here is an example of an online store called Talia Rose. They're a D2C that sells fashion and homeware. And just looking at the product page here for those coasters, you can see that they're already showing me from the product page that I will be able to pay with ClearPay. So if that's a payment method that your customer base is looking for, that's really important. And then in the top, you can see the actual checkout and cart, and you can see there in terms of payment options, I have credit card, PayPal, and again, ClearPay. So making sure that their customers have enough ways to pay them. Another example is BioLite. So BioLite sell red light therapy devices. And they too, you can see from their product page, are making sure that customers are aware of the fact that they're offering both Affirm and Sezzle as payment methods. So if your customers are looking for those options, they know they have them well in advance. And now let's talk about our final third growth metric, customer purchase frequency rate. Here we're going to focus on how you re-engage customers using retention and inbound marketing strategies to get them to make additional purchases. So for any e-commerce business, you invest so much in every sale, in acquiring that customer, your time, your resources, your marketing budget. And of course, every sale for e-commerce is an accomplishment and something to celebrate. But in the long term, the real opportunity is being able to sell to that customer time and again for a lifetime. So this is where we're going to think about how we're bringing customers back. So my first recommendation is going to be driving additional customer sales using emails and newsletters. These can be automated or blast, but thinking about how you're again sending relevant offers to your customers to get them returning and making additional purchases. On average, Wix stores that use email marketing have 149% higher revenues. So there's a lot to be earned there from your existing customer base. Here's a great example of an automated email. So this email belongs to Colin Canary, that luxury candle store that we saw before. And Colin Canary knows that typically their candles burn for around a month. So this is an automated email that goes out around a month after your purchase to remind you to make your next candle purchase when you should be just about ready for that next candle. And you can see that they're offering a great little promo here with a coupon to encourage shoppers to make that next purchase. So in 2020, this email alone drove over $45,000 in sales. So it just goes to show how effective a basic email can be. And last up, I would say, think about how you set up loyalty programs for your customers and make sure that you're creating tiered rewards and offers so that every customer can find themselves in that offer. On average, Wix stores with loyalty programs have 214% higher revenues, again, showing you the power of that existing customer base. So here's a great example of a loyalty program from Colin Canary. They've actually created a wonderful concept called Candle Points. And for different things that they ask you to do, you can earn those Candle Points. They have basic offers and rewards for things like following them on social networks or sharing their content, and then bigger rewards as you go through bigger purchases or repeat purchases. So a really great incentive for customers to keep coming back and purchasing with them. So the road to e-commerce success is full of twists and turns. Over time, you'll need to evaluate new marketing and sales tactics for growth and reevaluate existing ones to see if they're still functioning as you hoped. But ultimately, you can rely on these growth strategies to climb ever upward toward year-over-year e-commerce growth. So thank you for joining me today. I'd love to see you in our Wix eCommerce Facebook group, be part of our community, or you can just hit me up directly on LinkedIn or Twitter. Here's my handle again. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wix eCommerce Growth Summit. We're concluding today's events with Renat Klopholz, who is teaching a hands-on workshop called How to Use Wix Tools to Maximize Growth. During this session, you can ask questions directly into the chat, where you'll also find a survey to let us know your feedback at the end of the session. And just after our conversation with Renat, she'll be jumping onto the Wix eCommerce Facebook for a Q&A. And if you'd like to revisit any of today's sessions, you can find recordings on the Wix eCommerce School online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. Welcome, Renat.
Hi, my name is Rinat, and I'm a product manager in the CRM team at Wix. Today, I'll walk you through how to streamline your work process with the Wix marketing and CRM tools. Before we dive into the tools themselves, you might be asking yourselves, what does streamlining your work process really mean? Well, after you've set up your online presence, started creating and sharing professional content, learned how to drive traffic to your site, and how to keep customers coming back for more, you'll notice that your work will really start piling up. And this is a great sign, of course. It means the hard work is paying off. But it also means that to keep on growing and doing more, you'll need to become very efficient in what you do and use the right tools in order to clear up time for this growth. And if you're asking yourself, why should you do this with Wix marketing and CRM tools? Well, these tools have been tailor-made by our teams specifically for e-commerce businesses, which you'll soon see. So what's the plan for today's workshop? I'll take you through a live demo of how you can use our tools to streamline your business. And we'll cover best practices on getting subscribers and building your mailing list, best ways to efficiently manage your business communication with chat and inbox, and how to streamline your work with automations and use our built-in analytics tools to optimize your sales. Let's start with the best practices on getting subscribers and building your mailing list. These are the tools that we'll go over today: subscribe forms and email marketing. And I'll also quickly show you a few other marketing tools that are available for your use. So we'll get started with the first demo of subscribe forms by going to the editor. This is the subscribe form. And why do you actually need to collect subscribers? Well, in short, in order to send customers emails, you need them to opt in to receive such material. And this is what the subscribe form does for you. Now, let's view the contact list to quickly understand what happens behind the scenes. So here's your contact list. It's under the CRM category. And this is where you can view all of your contacts. You can see anyone that makes a purchase, for example, their total spent. And when they submit a subscribe form, you can actually see their subscription status right here on their email. For example, this contact is not subscribed. Now, if I go back to the editor, if you'd like to add another subscribe form, for example, you can find them under the add and contact and forms category. Here, I suggest that you use the subscribe preset under the subscribe section. These templates actually provided are here and ready-made for you to automatically mark contact as subscribers once they submit your form. And you can customize these forms to fit your needs in terms of fields, design, and much more. And if you do choose to go ahead with a different template, for example, a contact form, note that you can also add a subscriber opt-in field, as you can see here. And every time someone checks this checkbox, they will also be added as subscribers to your contact list. Now, what should you know in terms of setting up your form? So the first thing I suggest, of course, is giving your form a name that you'll recognize, so that when someone submits the form, you'll know which subscribe form it came from. And the second thing right here under the settings is the subscriber opt-in. You can actually choose if you'd like to set up single opt-in or double opt-in. What does that mean? Single opt-in is when someone submits your form, their status in your contact list will change right away to subscribe. Whereas double opt-in is once someone submits your form, they'll receive an email where they then need to confirm their subscription. And if they confirm, then their status will be changed to subscribed. And if they don't confirm, then they'll be marked as pending subscription. And this really changes based on your location and what type of subscribers you'd like to collect. Now, let's head to the live site so I can talk to you about some best practices with subscribe forms. So the first one, of course, is don't keep your subscribe form hidden. As you can see, it's here and it's super obvious. You can also put it in your site's footer to make sure it appears on every page, or add it to a lightbox, which is a pop-up that will appear when visitors are on a specific page or click a button. So for example, if I want to notify my visitors of to subscribe to sales in the computers section, as you can see, as they go into the page, they see the subscribe form. Now, let's say that you've set up the subscribe form and started getting some subscribers. One of the things you can do now is send them emails about upcoming events or your monthly newsletter using email marketing. Okay, so let's head over to the email marketing tool. You'll find the email marketing in your dashboard under the marketing and SEO category. And our amazing email marketing tool has a lot to offer. And one of the things that I love most here is the amazing templates that the design team creates for you, whether to give you inspiration or to make it easy for you to just plug and play until it fits your needs perfectly. And what I love even more is when the holiday season comes or special days of the year, and you'll see there's tailor-made templates just for that you can really easily use. And as you can see, we've also got an email marketing guide here and the number of subscribers you have on your site. And as I said, these are the people that you can send emails to since they opted in. So here, let's choose one of these lovely templates and customize them to fit our needs. You can change the background. You can change the text, for example. And another cool thing you can do is add dynamic variables, such as the customer's first name or last name, that will make your email personalized to the customer you're sending it to. And there's a lot more things you can do. You can then preview the email. You can preview it also on mobile. And the next step will be to actually choose which audience you'd like to send the email to. And keep in mind, we recommend leaving this only show active contacts toggle on. Basically, what an active contact is someone who engages positively and really shows interest in your newsletter. For example, they open it and click the newsletter, versus an inactive contact, which can be someone that doesn't even open your newsletter or they unsubscribed. And actually sending emails to inactive contacts can lower your reputation. So as I said, we really recommend sending it to your active contacts only. And Wix measures this over time in order to understand which contacts are active or not. So if you're sending your first email campaign, simply make sure you're sending it to subscribed contacts only. Another important thing to note here is that you can use these labels that you saw before in your contact list to actually send the email to a specific group of contacts. And to show you what I mean, let's quickly head back to the contact list. And basically, when someone submits a form, they get a contact label, for example, of subscribe form, right? So you can see it here. Also, you saw before the customers labels, as you can see. And this way, you can have different forms for different subscription types, for example. And one form is for people that want to subscribe to event updates only. And then you'll know how to only email these subscribers about upcoming events. And another really cool thing you can do is by using the filters here in the contact list, you can send emails to specific contacts, for example, that purchased over 5 products. And then you can know exactly how to target these customers. Or you can also choose it by location and then target contacts only in a specific location. And another important thing you should know is that actually, if you're moving contacts from an external tool, you can import all of them right here and then easily send them an email. And once you've chosen the relevant audience, let's continue. You can test the email once more and then go ahead and send it out to your customers to remind them to come back to your store. And just to give you some ideas, there's lots of things you can send your customers using email marketing to get them coming back to your store. You can send them coupon codes, monthly newsletters, special one-time updates. For example, if your store moved location or if you started selling a new product, you can share upcoming events or even request feedback or customer reviews by adding a link to a form in the email. And you can even prepare these emails ahead of time in advance and send them whenever you want. Keep in mind, all of these emails are sent with an unsubscribe link so that your customers can unsubscribe. And that's it. So now let's say we've sent out the email. We can go back to the email marketing page and you'll be able to see campaign statistics of the email. so that you know how many people opened it, how many clicked on it, and from which device it was opened. And you can even see how much revenue the specific email you sent has made you. It's not shown here, but once you start selling products, you will be able to see it. And it's a really, really great indicator as to which types of emails work best for your business and which types of emails actually make you get more revenue. So I highly recommend going through the email marketing guide before getting started, just to find out about the best practices and to make sure that your customers will really get your emails. Now, if I haven't already convinced you, let me share with you a really cool stat. These tools are really powerful, and you can see here the conversion rate from email marketing is the highest among the traffic sources, meaning customers that receive emails are much more likely to come back to your store. And stores that use email marketing have a 149% higher GPS on average, which is wow. Now, if we quickly go back to the dashboard, I'll just show you a few other tools that we have. For example, Facebook and Instagram ads, which with a few clicks from your Wix account, lets you run dynamic campaigns that reach the customers you want to target specifically and shows them the most relevant products. And you can actually manage any of the aspects of this campaign directly from your Wix account. We also have the social post and video maker tools, which can help you build eye-catching content and drive more traffic to your business and share this on social media. So it's all here for you. And to summarize, basically with our huge suite of marketing tools, you really don't have to be an experienced marketer. We're here to give you these tools in the simplest way possible in order to help you grow your business. You can use ready-made templates to speed up your process for both subscribe forms and email marketing. You can easily collect subscribers from your site, label and group them by key metrics right from your contact list, and directly send them emails. And you can manage your Facebook campaigns all in one place. You can really create the entire campaign you need with all of these tools. Keep in mind also that many of these tools are offered on the Wix Owner app, meaning that you can also create and manage them on the go. In the last part of this workshop, we'll also show you how all of these tools come together in analytics in order to help you make better decisions for your business moving forward. But now let's talk a bit about making customer communication more efficient. So what are the best ways to efficiently manage your business communication with your customers? I'll take you through a demo of two tools in our CRM that will help you do this: Chat and Inbox. What we've seen from our e-com users is that chat can really grow sales. Whether it's simply by enabling it on your site, you can see 8 to 12 times higher revenue thanks to that, or also by responding to your customers and offering them relevant products directly via chat. This can generate 71% more sales. So let's go into the editor to see what you can do with chat on your site. Awesome. So within the editor, if you don't already have chat, you can find it under the contact and form section that we just showed you here at the bottom. What you should know about setting up your chat. So one of the amazing advantages that Wix Chat has is that you can really make it match your site's branding and tone of voice. You can customize the colors, the text, the functionality, both for when you're available to chat in real time and when you're offline. And I mean, we really went out with all the customization capabilities, as you can see. You can also choose what pages your chat displays on. So imagine you want to show it, for example, only on specific product pages, and you can add a pre-chat form, show automated greetings, and coming soon, also add frequently asked questions to your chat. Another great feature you can use once you've added chat to your site is the Wix chat button. You can add it around your site, and when clicked on it, it will open the chat box. So for example, let's go back to the home page and I'll show you how it works. I have this message us button here, and when clicked, it will open the chat. Now, if I'm going back to the pre-chat form, so this is a really, really important tool. It can be sent when someone sends you a message on your site or opens the chat box manually in order to collect your customers' information, such as email and name, so that even if you're not currently available to provide a response, you can get their info and reach out to them later on when you are. This is a great way to capture leads for your business, even when you're not available. The next thing is the automated greeting. This can be created using automations, which I will soon explain about as well. And it can give your visitors a warm welcome and encourage them to reach out if they have any questions. It's also important to give your customers a feeling that someone is there and wants them to reach out if needed. And this is a great way to do it. And also in cases where you need to update your customers about something, for example, store opening hours have changed this week. You can add this to the automated greeting and automatically share this info with customers that visit your site. And lastly, the FAQ buttons that are coming soon will simply save you time in responding to the same question over and over again by doing so automatically for you. So if someone asks where your store is located, you can send them a saved response so that they can get an immediate answer and you get some time saved and happy customers. Some might say that it doesn't feel so personal, but it actually provides customers with the easiest and fastest way to reach out, and they get responses to basic questions, ensuring that you don't lose these customers and hopefully get the sale. The chat messages you receive go directly to your site's inbox, and now I'll show you how to use it and what its benefits are for you. So let's head to the site's inbox. Right here under the customer management section as well. Here you can view and respond to messages from many different channels like Wix Chat, Wix Forms, and Facebook, all in one place, meaning a form submission, a chat message you receive, or even a message you get on your Facebook page are all displayed here. Instead of going to several different places to respond, you can actually spend your time right here and easily respond to all of your customers in one place. From the inbox settings, you can also connect to your Gmail account in order to respond via inbox using your own email address. And you can see what channel you're actually responding to for your customers right here as well. So via chat, email, or maybe SMS as well. And just so you know, we've got a step-by-step tutorial ready for you to make sure you've got everything you need to get started in managing your communications easily with Inbox. And you'll find that here under the Inbox setup. One of the biggest benefits of Inbox is this really cool keyboard, which actually lets you send payment requests, save replies, and even products directly from here. So for example, let's send this customer a product. And you can see on the live site, they get the link to the product directly. So instead of going and searching for the link of the product you need or finding an external tool to request payments, it's really all here. And by clicking on the contact's name in the conversation, go back to Inbox, for example, here, you can actually see all the information about them. You can see their notes. And for example, Alfred here, he prefers to get his deliveries left outside. So we've added this as a note here, and it's super easy to go back and find all this information about the contact. And another great thing is that if you're working in a team, as you can see here, for example, this customer is assigned to one of my team members. So it's really all here, and you can collaborate and keep all of your conversations in one place. And this is a big start in streamlining your work process. And don't forget that you can also do all of this on the go with the Wix Owner app as well. Now, up next, this is one of my favorite tools, and I'll show you a short demo of Wix Automations. So I'll just start off by telling you, Wix Automations is seamlessly integrated with all of the Wix tools you have on your site. Imagine how efficient this makes using it. You don't need to invest any of your time in integrating all of your apps into this tool. We've already done that for you. And I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. First of all, let's go into the automations page. So on this page here, you can see some suggestions that we offer using the tools that you specifically have on your site. And this is based on what we've seen gives good results. Speaking of results, once you have some automation set up, you'll also be able to see the stats about these automations right here as well. And you can see how well these automations are working for you. We've got some suggestions of automations that can help you build customer relationships, for example, engage with your members, and boost your sales. Now, for e-com specifically, we have a few recommended automations, and let's go into create one together to see what I mean. So clicked on create. Now the first step in building an automation is choosing a trigger. A trigger can be actions on your site, such as submitting a form or making a purchase that will trigger the action of the automation, which I'll soon explain what the action means. But let's first choose Wix stores to see what visitor actions you can trigger automations based on. So here you have two triggers. The first one is when a customer makes a purchase. This can be something that is triggered for a purchase of any product or a specific product on your site. And the second one is when a customer abandons their cart. Abandoned carts happen basically when a customer places an item in their cart, but ends up not purchasing it. So the next step in creating an automation is choosing the action. You can see there's several different actions here, such as sending an email, sending a chat message, or getting notified by email as well. Now, what's the value of actually creating automations with these triggers and actions, for example? So for the customer makes a purchase, you can upsell other products. For example, if a customer purchases a specific product on your site, you can automatically send them an email with another related product that they could be interested in, leading them to make another purchase. Or you can send specific or relevant instructions for specific products. If you have different usage instructions for each product, this can save you lots of time in sending out these instructions manually to each customer. And you can ask customers for feedback on their shopping experience after they've made a purchase by adding a link to a form in the email you send automatically. For the abandoned cart trigger, you can get customers that abandon their carts back to your store and turn these abandoned carts into sales by automatically sending them a personalized email with the image of an item that was left in the cart along with a direct link. So let's choose this, for example, so you can see how an example of how it looks. And this makes it really easy for customers to go back and complete the purchase. Note that you can also create more advanced automations that have more than one action for a specific trigger. For example, if someone abandons their cart, you can send them an email in 3 hours and again in a week. And note that these are just examples of triggers you can use with Wix stores, but you can really create automations on several other actions on your site or actions that you take using the apps on your site. And based on your business specific process, use automations to save lots of time. Now, I'll show you a few other items that are actually coming soon, a few other automations and triggers. So the first one will let you update your customers when a product is back in stock. And the second one will let you easily send customers that did an action on your site a coupon. And once set up, both of these can really improve your sales without a second of your time. What we've seen so far is that abandoned cart recovery automations increase your sales by up to 29%. So what are you waiting for? And now for the last part of our workshop, I'll walk you through an amazing tool that can help you make better decisions for your business, Wix Analytics. Wix Analytics is a built-in analytics tool for your e-com business. It's integrated with your site, CRM, and marketing tools so that you can see all of the data from these tools in one place. Now we'll cover why data even matters, overview of Wix Analytics, and how analyzing store performance can give you great insights to plan ahead. So let's start with why data matters. Data is a really important tool to help you understand your business. This means understanding what audience is visiting your site and from where, or what the shopping journey of your customers is, what products are working best for you, and how to keep your customers coming back. You can also learn a lot about your business by looking at this data in different ways, looking at new customers' behavior versus returning customers' behavior, or by looking at the data during the day-to-day or during a special holiday like Christmas, for example. Now let's go into Wix Analytics to see what data is readily available for you. So here you can see that we've categorized this data for you by traffic, sales, and people right here. And you can see some of this data directly in your site's dashboard as well in Wix Owner app so that you can stay updated all the time. And you can also get alerts and emails about this data so that you can monitor it as you go. This data is near real time and provides you the relevant metrics with different visuals as you can see here as well. And we've actually already set up the most important data for you in a glance for each category. But you can also go ahead and choose exactly what you need using the reports tool. You can create customized reports just for you. So let's look at traffic, for example. You can see your site's traffic over time. You can see the top referring sources for where people are coming to your site from, and you can actually see your traffic by location. If we go to sales, you'll be able to see total sales, total number of orders, revenue over time, and your top selling items. Now, you can analyze this data and get insights for your business in basically two ways, I would say. The first one is monitoring your business, and the second one is finding opportunities. So monitoring your business is something you can do over time, kind of once you get a hang of what your day-to-day data looks like. You can then compare the same data during different times to see if your business is growing or stable. For example, you can look at your sales in June this year versus your sales in June last year to see where you stand today. Finding opportunities requires you to ask a lot of questions about the data that you see. For example, where are most of my sales coming from? What is the product that is sold the most? What is the product that is sold the least? From these questions, you can start trying different things for your business and then monitor how your business is doing to see if the impact is positive. For example, if you see that there's a specific product that is selling really well, maybe it's a good time to promote it. Another example, let's say in your traffic sources, top referring sites, you can see that the direct links are much higher than entry via social channels. So you can see this as an opportunity. Maybe you should boost your social media. Or on the other hand, see it as a good sign that maybe your best traffic actually comes from word of mouth, people sharing the links and products you're selling with each other. You can then give Facebook social promotion a try and see how this impacts your traffic and whether this direction is a good suit for your business. And lastly, let's, for example, look at traffic by location. When looking at this, you can ask yourself, where are most of my customers coming from? And this can tell you a lot. Maybe there's a specific location or community that has shared your products, and therefore many of them have become customers. Do you know this community? Do you know what additional products they might be looking for? Are there locations that are similar to the one you are selling in most? Maybe you could try promoting your store there as well. As you can see, asking questions based on this data can open up a lot of opportunities and give you lots of insights into your business. The more you know about your business and customers, the more you can grow. And now, to summarize everything we've learned today, getting insights from your data can help you understand how to market your business. For example, share your Facebook campaigns to the relevant locations where most customers are coming from and show the top selling products. They can also help you understand how to communicate with your audience once you know where they're coming from. And they can show you how your automations and email marketing are impacting your business. For example, in the first month that you added the abandoned cart automation, you can see if you got more sales. Now that you've learned all about our marketing and CRM tools that are tailor-made for your e-com business, I highly suggest you go out there and give it a try. You can see how they'll help you streamline your work process and improve your business and help you grow. It's all in one place and in your reach, so go for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Renat. Renat is now heading over to our Wix eCommerce Facebook community for a Q&A. And that concludes our events for today. Huge thanks to everyone who has joined us for the Wix eCommerce Growth Summit. It's been a dynamic day of learning, and we appreciate everyone's participation. If you want to catch up on any of today's events at a later time, you can find all of the recordings on the Wix eCommerce School online at wix.com/ecommerce/school. I'm Rob Goodman, executive producer at Wix. Thanks so much for joining us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's summit. You can let us know via the survey link in the chat. Take care, and thanks so much for watching and listening.